What is up, y'all? It is your girl, Sarah from Sarah Styles here, bringing you a casual reseller happy hour. The first, well, it's 3 people here, but the first people that DM me get a link to the chat. Anyone is welcome to join. I do have room for 2 more people to join. The software allows 6 people. So if you want to join the video chat, send me a DM on Instagram or say something in the comments because I'm talking. I may not be on my Instagram, but I'll give you the link to join us or join us in the comments if you don't want to join video. It's just kind of a casual thing. I've been enjoying talking with other resellers, and I like doing this informal. Anyone can join. I think a lot of people have really useful information, whether or not they have, 10,000 followers on Instagram or a YouTube channel or whatever. People have really useful information, and especially right now, we need to talk and communicate with each other when we're stuck with these same people for 30 days. And so I've been enjoying this, and I wanted to open it up for other people as well. So I'm just gonna go around in a circle and let you introduce yourself. Tell us, where you're from, your reselling name, whatever it is, how you got into reselling, a little bit about yourself, and we'll kind of just go around. There we go, in a circle. So Nina, we'll start with you.
Okay, I'm Nina. I'm the owner of Last Quarter Shop. I've been reselling since 2014. I started in 2014 on local apps, then got on PoshMark in 2016. And then in January of 2019, I became a full-time reseller after getting laid off from my banking job. And I was in banking for 12 years prior to getting into reselling full-time.
And tell us what apps you sell onto as you go around.
I'm on PoshMark, eBay, Mercari, and Tradesy. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, those 4.
Okay. Jamie and Nina have actually been on my on my channel before. They have lots of really helpful information. So scroll through my lives and check out their videos. But Jamie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Jamie from Does This Come in Gold? I have been on PoshMark since 2015, but I would say I would consider myself a reseller for about a year. And I have a background in retail sales, but I am also right now thrust into the world of full-time reselling while I'm not working. And yeah, and I'm on PoshMark, Mercari, and have started to dabble into eBay, but eBay is like
it's scary.
Strange territory. Yeah.
Yeah. How is it going staying home and doing it full time?
It's fine. It's, obviously like not knowing that this was going to happen. I was so like in the beginning, I was like, fun, awesome, love it. And then, now with all of this, COVID stuff, it's been a little bit different.
So did you lose your job before all of this?
Yeah, like just before. Yeah.
I thought you lost it because of.
No, I got laid off in January. And so was like, all right, cool. Like I, have some time, and I was lucky to basically my division was eliminated. So I was lucky to not just like be out on, with nothing. So I was like, cool, let's like take a minute, decompress. Like this was really stressful. And then, just as I kind of was like getting back into my job search, it was like, yeah, guess what? Yeah, you're not going anywhere, homegirl. You're going to be home for a while.
Yeah. Can you file for unemployment and stuff and get?
Yeah. So, eventually I'll be able to, but, yeah, it's really, I think all of us are just experiencing this in different ways. I mean, for me, it's like, who really needs a multi-store manager when none of your stores are open? But I have been, talking with all of my, like my personal network, who is all in, retail and stuff too. I'm so glad that I have a side hustle with PoshMark and reselling because, it's such a blessing to feel like you have a little bit of ownership and direction still. Because I think if I didn't have this to focus on, I would like lose my mind.
Yes. And I that's a good point that you bring up. And to that point, my friend Cheryl, she's been on the channel too. Yo, Sarah, shouldn't you be packing? How do you find the time? And I mean, I do reselling to make money as well. But a lot of it is like just to give us something to keep my mind off of everything right now and have a drive, even if I'm not bringing in the sales that I used to. So I think we're gonna chat a little bit about all this. But Michelle is amazing. She is on Instagram and she actually made me a mask and made me and all my family masks and sent them to our family, and then included like a little toy for my kids. Totally made their day, which with all of their toys in boxes right now was like a huge win for the day. So thank you so much for that, Michelle. I will let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about where you sell on and how you got into reselling and where you're at.
Thanks, Sarah. My name's Michelle. I'm with Rax Tiles. I've been reselling probably since 2015. I kind of started on eBay at first, just selling stuff from my house. And then I found PoshMark. And it was just a little extra income, making money back on my teenage daughter's clothes and just different things around the house. And then I came across other resellers that were on YouTube, and I thought, wow, this is really great. This is something that I could actually be providing for my family as some extra income to help out, to pay off the bills, to go on vacations and different things like that. And so I started doing it as part-time as a reseller. I've been thrifting with my dad since I was a little girl. It was never for clothes, so that was definitely a learning curve for me. And it still is. But my dad always took me to the flea markets every weekend. It was a thing we did growing up. My dad was a single dad and he raised me. And it was a tradition that we carried on throughout the years. Yard sailing.
Do you sell other things besides clothes? Like I only sell clothing, so I think everyone only does that. But do you sell, because all of the other stuff is kind of where it's at right now.
Right. I've just done a little bit of home goods and stuffed animals and different things like that I can find that, that came from my childhood most of the time, or some of even my teenage daughter's childhood. It doesn't seem like it was that far ago, but a lot of those things are becoming collectibles or rare finds for people. And there's a lot of people out there that do those. So when I say home goods, it's probably mugs more than anything, stuffed animals, and then into clothes. But every day is a learning curve for me, so I try to learn as much as I can.
Yeah.
Most of that I do on eBay.
Yeah, I think that's the life. I think that's the life of a reseller. You learn something new every day. I want to begin with the chat as well. Oh, sell quick, ship quick. It's like a mouthful. They are here. They have an awesome YouTube channel. It's a couple. And Daniela, if you guys follow Daniela, Ivy and Blush, although she just changed her name, just started a YouTube channel, and I think she's dropping a video. Daniela, are you dropping a video today? Maybe it's tomorrow. Thank you everyone for joining. If you are in the chat, feel free to drop your Instagram handle, your Poshmark closet, shameless self-promotion here at Sarah Sales. Let's all support each other however we can. So make sure to drop that down. And then the three of you send me a DM on Instagram and I will put your guys' links in the description when the video's over to make sure that people have access to you as well. Oh, Daniela said it just dropped. Oh, so don't leave this chat to go watch her video. Leave it after this, then go watch Daniela's. And I think Reseller's Passion has something tonight too, and so does someone else. There's so many reseller live things. So try and join as many as you can or watch them in the chat. Let's talk about things that we are doing right now to, if anything, I'm moving and packing. So I'm going to be honest, like I'm not doing a whole lot. But if you are doing things, how you are kind of keeping things going and what you're doing right now. And we'll kind of go in a circle, but you guys, I mean, obviously are welcome to talk to each other and if you have questions as well.
Oh, starting with me? Oh, sorry.
Which way is it?
Yeah, I guess it's me, then Jamie, then Michelle, right? That's the way, the circle.
Yeah, that's kind of how we started.
Oh, okay. Well, March was pretty chaotic for me. I think I went to the bins at the very beginning of March before all this started and before they started locking everything down. So I got one trip in, and then once everything started happening, I just went into panic mode and didn't do anything. I think I listed things here and there, and I try to be normal. And then at the beginning of April, I said, okay, I need to get back into some kind of normal routine. So I said, I'm gonna try to get up early, like around 7 or 8, and start working and doing that. And I started doing good.
But you have a daughter at home too, right? So is she doing remote learning?
Right. Yeah. And luckily that this school district has laptops, so she has a laptop that she can work from, and they send everything through a program called It's Learning. Yeah. So she's able to complete everything through there. So but I still have to kind of guide her through some stuff.
Is she pretty? She's older, right? Like middle school, am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. She's 12.
Yeah. So she's pretty self-sufficient.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I still have to get onto her because she would rather play video games, talk to her friends. But for the most part, she's been pretty good about keeping up with that work. But then, I got a wrench thrown, in everything when her dad, he got sick, and he went to get tested for the virus, and it's a long waiting period. They told him it would be up to 7 days before he got results back. So that was that's been my April so far.
Yeah.
And so on Sunday, I decided, okay, I need to get something together. So what I did was scour eBay for like bundles and deals. And I actually bought a wholesale bundle. It's a Stitch Fix wholesale bundle, 50 pieces for $275, which came out to be like $5. I'm not good at math, but $5 something for each item. And most were new with tags or new without tags. Oh, so nice. So I felt that was a decent investment. And I mean, and I kind of saw it as a gamble too, like, okay, this could be like totally horrible. It's going to show up at my door and be like, shot or something.
But if it's on eBay, then you could just send it back, ship back, right? Like, was there the return?
Yeah, it was no returns. So kind of, yeah. So I'm taking it. I mean, I could return it if there was stuff like torn and everything. I could just open like an item not as described.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But, I got it today, and everything was like great. Most of it was new with tags. And then the stuff that's new without tags, I went through it, and it was in perfect condition, no flaws. So on that same day, on Sunday, I got that. And then I also got a small little bundle of like Anthropology and J. Crew stuff, just to be like, well, I got some here. And then today I also picked up a bag of clothes from a lady who just donated a bunch of clothing to me. And now I'm sitting on a bunch of stuff. And yesterday was the first day I've listed anything this month because of how crazy everything has been during this pandemic.
Yeah, I think it's hard. I have not sourced. Well, I got something last week, but before then it had been almost 2 months since I had listed anything new because we were moving. And so I was like, well, I'll take a couple weekends off to go look at houses and get the house ready. And then boom, this all happened. And I was like, well, shit, I should have been shopping, right? But it is what it is. Jamie, what are you up to?
So I just want to say, I'm so grateful for these opportunities to connect with other resellers, because every time somebody says I've been so distracted or I just haven't felt focused, I feel such a sense of relief that I'm not the only one who's not being productive or not as productive as I feel like I should be. So Yeah, I was in like a similar situation to you, Sarah, where I haven't had inventory or very little inventory in a while coming in. So I had made a strategic decision to take January off from sourcing. So I did no sourcing in January in order to inventory and really focus on what I already had and getting that all set up. Knowing that I was just coming into some time where I actually had a lot of time to devote to my business. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to set the groundwork. I'm going to get my inventory great, which was awesome. But then in, the next couple of months, I only, part of my commitment was to only source what I plan to list. So I sourced, I listed, and that was awesome. Except for then once I couldn't go out and source anymore, I didn't have a death. People were like, oh, I'm working on my death pile. And I was like, I'm really jealous because my death pile is called my personal closet right now because that's the only thing I can put in there.
That's kind of how I am. I am like anti a death pile, and now I'm kicking myself for it. And I don't wear nice things. Because if it's nice, I was just gonna sell it. I mean, there's a couple like nice things, but I actually really like them. But I'm not like.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like so I've picked up a little bit the last couple of days. I've been good on Poshmark, and I was like, dude, that's it, Jamie. Get in your closet, and if you are not wearing it or you're not planning to wear it, then you're listing it because you got to do something. But so I haven't had a lot of new, or any really new inventory to list, but I've been focusing a lot on relisting and cross-posting and just, trying to diversify a little bit there and trying to finally just say, you know what, you are scared of eBay? Too bad. You figure it out. Watch YouTube videos and get used to it.
You can ask me questions and also sell quick, ship quick. It's a mouthful. And Cheryl too came on from my eBay. They're both great eBay people. Cheryl's not on, she answers Instagram, but she's not like a big Instagrammer. But I know that sell quick, ship quick is. You can ask them questions. I mean, I'm not a pro by any means. Nina also, I ask her a lot of my eBay questions. You kind of just have to jump in, and then the first time that you're like, whoops, I should have done shipping different on that one. I lost money. And then you remember to never do that again. I do want to pop over because Daniela is saying eBay has been amazing for her the last 7 days, which I don't know what I'm doing wrong on eBay, y'all. Like I need something. I need some help here. But I'm glad that it's doing well for Daniela. I think she sells mostly clothes too. Alicia started on pause toward the end of February and have been focusing on it. eBay scares me, but I'm sure if I start researching and learning, it will be fine. Michelle, what have you been doing? Do you have inventory? Do you have a death pile?
I have a very small death pile. I haven't been able to focus as much on reselling this last, I would say, week for sure. Just trying to get back to some normalcy. I have a 2-year-old and a 16-year-old. My 16-year-old is pretty much self-sufficient, but there's times that she is in college prep classes and different things like that. So she needs help in some different areas where she can't get normally what she would be able to do, like to go to the library and different things like that. So I help her with her resources on that. And of course, the 2-year-old needs constant. Yeah, constant attention.
They are literally the worst. The amount of toilet paper that you guys would be so disappointed if you saw our toilet paper.
I know.
Stop.
Yeah, and it's been so much worse now that you can't really get toilet paper anywhere. So
he knows that. He's like, I know there's a shortage. I'm gonna
Exactly. I finally had to cave in and buy commercial toilet paper, which thank God for my small business that I'm able to do that. So now I have these giant rolls. They're I mean, it's unbelievable.
Oh, that's amazing.
I was like, what am I doing with this situation?
We actually cloth diaper. My 2-year-old was cloth diapered, and so you would use cloth wipes as well. And I was like, hey, worst case scenario. I mean, we have laundry. We will survive.
Right.
Sorry, Michelle.
That's okay. You're fine. And I've just been trying to cross-post stuff that I haven't cross-posted in the past. And just taking it a day at a time. There's down days, of course, but then there's better days that, when the 2-year-old goes to bed, that's when I work. And so I just kind of find bits and pieces of where I can list things. And the biggest thing I've been doing is making a schedule every day to try to get back to that schedule or routine somewhat of what I was before, going into quarantine or shut in. So
that's helpful.
I think that helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So how are everyone's sales? I did an analysis last weekend, and so I can share a little bit about that. For me, I think my sales are definitely down, but I'm also not working a lot because we're moving. And I also had no inventory. I have inventory now that I can start listing. But my sales are absolutely down, and my ASP is down. Average sale price is down as well. Are you guys noticing the same thing? Or if you're putting in the same amount of time, are you still making the same sales?
Yeah, I've noticed that my sales are down, and definitely, like you said, the average sales price is down. I'm surprisingly still making daily sales on eBay, but I'm also ending 10 every day and hitting sales similar, and that makes it fresh again. And usually I have to say at least 1 or 2 of those items will sell after I do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I've been doing that every day with the oldest 10, because you know how eBay will show you all the items that are about to end. So I just pick the top 10, end them, and then sell similar. But the thing is, it's very like low sales. Like I get offers for $10, $8, $9, but it's items that were either donated to me or I picked up at the bins for like nothing. So
and
I'm
kind of in that boat. Like it's something like
yeah, exactly. And with the way eBay works, I think if I accept, then it looks better. So then more sales start rolling in. And so I'm like, okay, I'll take the $7, I'll take the $9, anything to get stuff rolling. And plus, like those sales or those items are typically items that I want out the door anyways. Right. I don't want to hold on to them. So that's been consistent, but Poshmark has not been consistent. I did CCO on, was it Sunday when they had CCO? Again,
every day this
it's like it's like every other day. I dropped a bunch of prices and then I got lowball offers after I dropped the prices. I mean, some items I was like, okay, just let them go. So Poshmark has actually been a little better this week, but it's been pretty dead for the last couple weeks for me.
Yeah, see, and I'm the opposite. eBay's been pretty dead, and Posh is still pretty consistent. Everyone says eBay, and I'm getting closer to being on the eBay train, but I still am not getting the consistent. I still make more on Poshmark, and I'm doing even less on Poshmark than I am on eBay. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like, I feel like I'm doing less on Poshmark actually, so that's probably why, because I think Poshmark requires you to do a lot of activity.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm sharing still, but I'm not really relisting things the way I should. But on eBay, I am more consistent. So
Jamie, it is so much easier to relist on eBay. I mean, it is like 2 buttons. It is glorious.
Wow. Yeah. I was like, well, amen for that, because
it is glorious. I mean, it find it and it takes the exact same thing and redoes it. You don't have, I mean, you can change things if you want, but it is glorious. That's one plus for eBay. Jamie, what are you doing too, or what's happening with your sales? Are you noticing things like that? So, also, I want to check in with the chat. I'm trying to be good with the chat. No, just asking the chat. I don't think we have anything new. The Grumpy Thrifters, which I love that name. Their sales are down on both platforms. Had a great weekend on Posh, then dead again. eBay's still daily sales, but definitely down. Cheryl doesn't have a death pile. Quickest way to learn eBay is to make mistakes, then you know. So everyone else in the chat, let us know how your sales are so we can kind of get an idea. And then Jamie, how are you doing?
So yeah, March was like it's my worst month on Poshmark ever. It was really, really quiet. And I think for me, you know, my closet size is not large, so I'm very reliant on new merchandise. Like, and you know, in my business strategy, the merchandise that I pick is important. So, you know, I pick something that I know is going to turn quickly. So not having the ability to really be out actively sourcing and picking things that I think are going to go quickly, it's, you know, it was not unexpected for me that my business is going to, you know, be so poor. But it was really bad. This month is looking like, after this week, a little bit better, which is great. eBay, so on eBay and Mercari, I probably only have, I would say, 20% of my listings on those two apps. So it's like not apples to apples comparison. As far as, you know, I sort of view eBay and Mercari as like, if I get a sale over there, awesome, because I don't have enough listed there to really be that invested at this point. But Poshmark's been all over the place. Like, you know, I think in the yesterday and today, I had 6 orders, which for me was like, where did this come from? But like, I wouldn't see an order for like days, you know, at some point. So.
And are you putting in, because now you don't have your full-time job and do you have children? I don't remember.
I don't have children, although it is very new for me to have my husband at home. So that's like I feel like it adds a whole different level of distraction. It's like, just when I don't know if this happens to you guys, but like, just when I feel like I'm hitting my groove of organization, it's like, hey, and I'm like, then I'm off on some, you know, tangent and can't get focused again.
It absolutely happens. Yeah. My husband works from home 1 day a week normally, and then now all the time. And if he is in his office and I come in, he's like, hey, I'm working, like, leave me alone. But then when I'm doing it, he's like, well, let's just talk. And I'm like, but I'm also working. He is actually watching YouTube, and he says husbands are children too. So it does add a different level. But I'm just wondering, would you say you're working about the same amount of time as your normal and making less sales, or do you think you're working less?
I think I'm definitely working less. I'm certainly working less effectively, I would say, too. Like, I might spend the same amount of time, but like the other day I was like, that's it. Get a timer and you're going to relist like this bin of inventory, and this is the amount of time you have to do it, which I really have to like give myself that kind of talking to. I'm pretty, you know, organized, but I just find, you know, with everything going on, sometimes it seems like my brain's like in 1,000 different directions. So it's really easy to get distracted. And then when you don't have like a lot of other things to do, you sort of feel like, well, I have unlimited time. Yeah. So I could take 10 hours to, you know, relist these things. And you're like, no, that's not helpful.
Well, and I find it's hard to have motivation too when you're not making, like, if you haven't had a sale in a couple of days, you're like, well, how motivated am I really doing anything?
Right.
Fuchsia Star says sales are much higher than pre-COVID, but I sell a lot of hobby supplies and toys, and that's absolutely where it's at.
Yeah.
When the analysis that I did, I noticed that. And then Chris from A Daily Refinement, which I'm doing a weekly chat with him every Wednesday at 6 p.m. So definitely make sure to subscribe if you want to listen to those. But he was mentioning too that eBay sales are actually up 40%. Like eBay overall, not him, but eBay overall are up 40%. But it's in hobbies, toys, books, which I don't think most of us really sell.
Yeah, games.
Yeah, and
games are a big seller.
I'm kicking myself because we just got rid of like 200 DVDs because we're moving, so we cleaned everything out, and there were literally like 200. They were all used, and most of them went for only a couple bucks. So I was like, get rid of them. I don't want to deal with it. And I'm like, well, should have kept them because it's better than nothing. But Michelle, what are you noticing? You said your time's a little bit less than you usually would do with everyone at home and stuff. Are you noticing what's happening with your sales?
I noticed that, of course, you know, with not being able to spend as much time, especially on Poshmark, because it does take a little bit more time to engage with other closets and things, that I have slowed down in sales there. But eBay has definitely picked up for me. It's nothing extravagant, but I've been making daily consistent sales and without doing as much work. I don't know. I do list at least a couple a day.
You've been on there for a while though, right?
I have been. Yeah, I took a break for a while, but my account is and it may even go back to 2013. I'd have to go back and look when I first started just selling random things. But yes, I have been on there for a while. But I've at least made one sale a day, which is pretty good considering I haven't been able to focus as much attention on it. My husband's at home as well. He's in my posh area, so I usually have to wait. When I come down, he's like, "Shh, I'm on a meeting." So so I try to, stay clear until he's done working. But of course I can come down and do what I need to do. But with the kids being home, that just kind of makes it a whole different scenario. So
and the children also follow you, because my studio,
yes, they do.
Right now, until we move, we have a shared space as well. And so, yeah, he's on conference calls, and I'm like trying to quietly get in and measure something that I had a question with. And then all of a sudden my 2-year-old, well, he's 3 now, comes down yelling. And
so. They don't know quiet for sure.
Especially when you tell them to be quiet, then it's like,
right. Yeah.
The Grumpy Thrifter says game puzzles sold quick for me. It's definitely what I've heard everywhere. Yet mostly eBay sales are up 17.2 in the last 31 days. So if you're wondering what to sell out there, it is going to be hobby supplies, games, books, all of that. Clothing is not where it's at, as we're telling you right now. So what are there things that we can be doing right now? Do you guys have ideas of things that we can be doing? I mean, you mentioned sell similar, like if you don't have new inventory, or kind of things to get sales going, even though we don't have new inventory, or a lot of us are lower on time. What kind of things, if anything, or you're just saying, meh.
I think Sarah got.
Oh, there we go. She's back.
Weird. Okay. in the middle of a snowstorm right now.
Oh my gosh.
I saw it in your stories. I was like,
really?
Yeah, we had I did a picture. It snowed off and on for like the past 3 or 4 days, and it's been snowing steadily all day. We probably have at least a foot. So I'm wondering if and it's like that heavy snow because it's April. So it's like if the power lines, this is when the power lines go out.
See, and I don't even, I can't even comprehend that, because I'm in Houston, so it never snows here, and it's always like, I think the lowest we get is 30, like 35, and that's like in like December, January, and then right now it's like 75, 80.
I know. I see all these people that are like, "Oh, I'm getting like my garden ready and all," and you can't do that here until after Mother's Day.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was talking to a girlfriend of mine the other day, and we were saying how we're both feeling really resentful of people who are in like warm weather states for this, because they're like posting pictures like out in their backyard, and I'm like a little apartment dweller, like, oh, it's been so long since the sun was on me.
Oh yeah, true. And in the apartment, so like it's probably kind of sketchy to leave and just go, like, because we're going for walks and stuff.
Yeah, so like we go for walks, but like I was like, oh my God, what I would give for like a little balcony so I could just sit outside sometimes, because like it's hard to be like, the only time you can really be outside is if you're walking or something, you know what I mean? So it's just different. Like I'm somebody who I love to get outside and like take my laptop out and work outside. Like, I'd way rather enjoy the weather when it's nice. So this is like, I feel like spring. So I live in the mid-Atlantic, and spring is like so beautiful here. So it's just tough because you're like, oh, it's going to be really nice outside soon.
Yeah, you don't know what you miss.
Yeah.
And now that it's snowing, I'm like, I wish that we could go. We've gone out a couple of the days when it's snowing because, like, with the kids, we had to get out. But I'm about done with it because it's driving me crazy. I'm like, go play in the backyard, and now they don't even want to deal with the backyard right now.
I love the snow.
So I'm sorry, like I think we got off track, but your last question was like, what suggestions do we have to sell? Like you said, about sell similar. Like, okay, why I do sell similar instead of relist is because I once saw a YouTube video. I forgot the name of the guy. It was a guy who sells mostly toys. I want to say Madcap Toys. It might be that. I could be wrong, but he sells mostly toys, and he made a great point one day. He says, when you list something, after a while, it gets buried and buried and buried. And when you go to relist it, well, it's like putting layers. And when you relist it, it just gets buried again because it's just being relisted, especially now that eBay's auto relist, because it used to be where you could choose how long you wanted it to be live for. But now it just auto relists, and it's just layers on top of layers, so it's getting buried. And he said if you end it yourself and hit sell similar, it brings it all the way to the top of the search results, and it's a brand new it looks like a brand new fresh listing.
Yeah.
And
that's on eBay, because on Poshmark you have to end the listing. Like when you say relist it on Poshmark, it's ending the listing.
Oh yeah. On Poshmark, it's ending it. Oh, it's deleting the entire listing, and then you're having to relist everything again.
Although Denali from El Ducho Thrift was on my channel the other day, and she told me that sell similar is not the same as completely fresh, that there's still a little bit of something that it does. Like it works okay, but you want to be listing fresh inventory every day for eBay.
Okay. I didn't know that. Like,
but if you don't have anything, then it's better than nothing.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that sell similar is better than just relisting, but sell similar isn't as good as a brand new fresh listing, because I'm sure somewhere in their algorithm they can tell that this item has been listed before, because if you've ever tried to list something that's already listed on eBay, which I've done before by accident, it will actually tell you this item has already been listed.
Yeah.
And so
I wonder if you did it and like switched it up a little bit, then maybe it would look even fresher.
And which is why I think stuff sells, is because I tend to change a lot of things when I hit sell similar. I don't just go in and just scroll down and list. I usually change a couple of things around while I'm doing sell similar. And for some reason, I sell one or two things from that sell similar. I've noticed that. So I think it is a matter of changing a few things around.
Yeah, I'm going to try that. If anybody has thoughts on that. Oh, sell quick, ship zip. When you sell similar, you can tweak the title to help. So yeah, they're saying as well. And that's smart, because a lot of times I'm like just quick, sell similar, but just moving things around. Michelle, I know you're on eBay as well and have been for a bit. What are your thoughts on that?
A lot of times I do tweak the title, and it's not, and I like the idea of that. I've never thought of it the other way around, just because I'm changing something, but I usually change the title because I'm like, well, maybe I'm not hitting search engine optimization or different things like that. So maybe I need to word it differently to get it noticed, since, it's not selling. So I'm sure it has to do with both of those. So yeah, definitely I do see a difference when I change things. Sometimes I do change my pictures around. And some of the description, just because, like I said, with search engine optimization, it can get kind of tricky sometimes. So I just want to make sure that I'm getting eyes on it if I can.
Yeah, and the Grumpy Thrifter says he uses, or they use, I think it's a couple. I use List Perfectly, so I can end on eBay and Posh and relist with a couple clicks. Are you guys using cross listing software?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I use Vendu, and I just had come across it and been trying it out, but I just found out about List Perfectly, so definitely worth looking into. So, yeah.
Jamie, what do you?
So I have both List Perfectly and Vendu. I'm currently like trying both so I can decide which one I like better, and I feel like there's advantages to both. I haven't quite figured out which one I feel like works best for me. So that's something I've been figuring out, but they're both a huge help.
Keep us posted on which one.
I will definitely.
I've only used List Perfectly, and I can say why I like it, but I'm interested to know. I haven't used Vendu to know whether or not how it compares. And Nina, what are you using?
I've been with List Perfectly probably since when they first started out. And I tried
in the sponsor, like whatever.
Yeah.
My husband saw that, and I was like, "Ooh, I know her."
Yeah. They reached out to me and they wanted my logo to put on their website because they were redoing everything. So I was like, oh my gosh, really? Like, really, me? Like, because there's so many other resellers out there that have like 20,000 followers on Instagram, 40,000 followers, and I have like I barely have 3,000. So to me, it was a big deal. But I've been with them pretty much since the beginning. I downloaded Vendu, and I reached out to them and I asked them at one point if they had the same option as List Perfectly, which was a I'm trying to think of the option. It was like a quick relist option, and at the time they didn't have it, so I didn't go any further and try it out. So I've been pretty much stuck with List Perfectly, and I don't see any faults in them so far.
Don't fix it. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, once I get comfortable with something, it's hard for me to let that go or try something new.
Yeah. The Grumpy Thrifter says that it's him and his college age daughter, or her. Now I don't know. It's so hard on here. But they've used Vendu and List Perfectly. So I'm interested, Grumpy Thrifters, if you want to tell us the differences in the two and why you are choosing List Perfectly. I like List Perfectly. One, it's ran by two really amazing women. I've had chats with them and I follow them, and I really want to support their business and nothing against Vendu. I don't know much about the people that are running the business. But I actually just really like the owners and their values and what they're doing for the community. And also they have a CSV file. And
that's amazing.
Y'all know me and data. And the second that Vendu, as far as I know, does not have that. Being able to track your data is obviously a big win for me. I'm working on some kind of cross-listing dashboard so you can look at data for all of your listings. So that's kind of my point for it, but I don't know enough about Vendu to know how. I know a lot of people like it, to know how they compare to each other. The CSV file is honestly that's
yeah. I was going to say for you, Sarah, I don't think like it's not ever no features are going to outweigh that.
And data management, and I don't know how Vendu does it. But I am not. I know it looks like I'm like really organized because I have to overcompensate for how unorganized I actually am. And so being able to use it as a data management system is one of my big things. Like I have put all of my listings in there, and then when something sells, it's all in one place. I don't have to. Otherwise, when I was kind of doing it on my own, I was missing things. because I'm not organized and I'm selling something while my 2-year-old is doing this, and then I forgot to take it off of this. And so having it all in one place is kind of a bonus. But I think you could probably do that with Vendu too.
Yeah, you definitely can. It doesn't have, I mean, I think the advantages for me, what I see so far, and this is just me, is I think Vendu is very easy. Like it's very simple to use. But List Perfectly has a lot of great options. I think the other thing too for me that I also has me hung up is I kind of like that Vendu has all their pricing a la carte, so you can buy what you need and not anything else. But at the same time, like if you want all the features by the end of it, are you spending more? Yeah. You know, that's kind of how I've just been trying to figure out, well, I like the idea of this a la carte, but is it actually the best thing for my business? And right now, you know, as all of us probably are, you know, with business being, you know, a little different right now, we all have to decide, like, is this something that is really necessary and profitable? So yeah, so that's kind of where my head's been at with that. But thus far, I'm, you know, sticking with it. I haven't cut back that far.
Yeah. So on Vendu, can you like change your pack? Like things aren't doing great right now. Can you like go down a couple packages for a bit and then in a couple months go back up? And or like once you're
like drop a service?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
I think you can.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can. I'm not 100% sure, but I just started using it, so I'm not well versed in it. But it does let, you know, it said that I can cancel or change things as I go on. So, so I do think that is an option, but I could not find, you know, like a CSV file or anything like that. And that's important to me as well, just because it makes my life simpler. But that's all that I've noticed so far on it.
Yeah. So the Grumpy Thrifters is a mother-daughter duo. So now I know. They liked Vendu. Vendu doesn't have templates though, and templates allow me to go faster. Plus LP is cheaper for me. So I wonder, Jamie, if you were to do like apples to apples and have the same services, Vendu, you can go up and down in packages. Well, thank you, Grumpy Thrifters. Answering all of their questions. Oh, the templates. I haven't used the templates. Have any of you used the templates on List Perfectly? I haven't.
I have.
And you like it?
Yeah, oh yes, I love them because prior to List Perfectly, I actually created templates on a Word doc, and I would just copy those and paste it into a listing because I already knew what I wanted to say. Like, you know, says like I would have length, bust, waist measurements, and then I would say in blank condition, so I could just fill in, you know, in good condition, in excellent condition, no major signs of wear. You know, I would just have these how do you say, like pre-done templates with blanks so I could fill in. So then when List Perfectly came around, I created those into List Perfectly so that when I'm creating a listing on List Perfectly, I have them there already. So it makes it just as quickly.
You start in List Perfectly and then put it on all the different platforms.
Well, yes, now I do. Before List Perfectly, I used to have a Word document and then I would have to fill it out and then copy it and then paste it into PoshMark, paste it into eBay. So now I have the template already there. So when I upload the photos, I also insert the template, and then it's already there for later when I go back and I can just enter all the information and the measurements.
Okay. And I've tried the templates before. I actually have someone who lists for me on eBay because I hate eBay. So they do the listing on eBay because that has the most fields, and then I bring it into List Perfectly and then put it on other places. But to Jamie's point, like depending on how long this goes on, things may need to be start cutting. If I'm not making sales, paying someone to do it for me is not going to be the most efficient. So I'll also look into the templates. I was just trying to get all my data in one place. And now this week, I finally got everything on PoshMark listed over to eBay and all in list perfectly. So they also said I have to plug in my measurements and prices. I begin in list perfectly, then cross list to Posh, then eBay.
Yeah.
Oh, someone just said they're heading outside to gardening.
Jealous.
It's also almost bedtime here. Are they doing like a Howl at the Moon in your guys' area?
Howl at the Moon Club?
No. So in Denver, and we're in a suburb of Denver, but Denver Metro, 8:00 every night, people go outside and howl at the moons to say thank you to the first responders. And it's actually, we're always in bed putting the kids to bed, but you can hear people outside howling at the moon. Like it makes me tear up almost every time because and I think someone said that the police officers are putting on their blue lights for like a minute or 30 seconds or something at that time. I don't know why that just came to me every night because I'm getting the kids, or we're like laying in bed, but we can like hear it. It's really cool. You guys should start it in your areas. All right. Well, we are wrapping up to the hour. If you guys have questions that you want to ask each other or anything else that you wanted to share, I do want to make sure to let the people in the chat ask questions if they have them as well. And shameless self-promotion. I am a huge fan of that. So if you have not yet plugged your Instagram or your closet or whatnot in the chat, make sure to do that, as well as you guys. I'll put your descriptions down below. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to? I had nothing to chat about, and so for an hour. But if there's other things that you guys wanted to mention, or if you guys are doing any specials and you have shameless self promotions as well.
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned Howl at the Moon, because the first thing was like, oh, is that a club? Because there's actually a club here in Houston that's called Howl at the Moon.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, I was like, so yeah, the alcoholic in me, just came out. It was like, oh, I know that club. It's a piano bar.
Oh, very fitting.
I think that's amazing that they're doing that as a community.
Yeah, it's
just
really
coming together. Yeah,
you can hear it. Like we're usually like reading books around 8:00, and you can hear it.
That's great.
Yeah, that's neat. Today we had a bunch of fire trucks pass by our street, and then I went outside because I'm like, oh my gosh, what's on fire? What's going on? Is there zombies, outside walking around? Because it was so many. And then I walk outside, and it's just truck after truck. And what happened was there's a firefighter who lives down the street, and it's his birthday today, so the entire fire department got together with all the trucks and their cars, and they went down the street like with the sirens blaring and the lights, and they were just waving and saying happy birthday with signs and everything. I thought that was pretty
cool. That's cute. That's cute. Jamie, were you going to say something?
No, I just was laughing. Grumpy Thrifters is saying in the chat that the only person who would hear them howl are the coyotes. That cracks me up. It's so funny, like thinking about, so I live in a metro suburb, but I'm like, yeah, no, here, nobody's going to go outside and howl at the moon. That's can't really see that happen in the DC metro.
I live like in the foothills of Denver, so like you can see the mountains, and it's like 10 minutes to be in the mountains, but then also it's like Denver's a big city, and we live in a big open space behind our neighborhood, and we see coyotes. And there's like my son's middle school was closed down a couple of months ago because there was a bear in the neighborhood.
Oh my
God. It's also like a big metro city, so we kind of have a little bit of both. Irish Lux Poshmark says we have had teacher car parades around the neighborhood, and I kind of want to do one of those. I think my kids would really like that. They're missing. My daughter's definitely missing. my 14-year-old is on the spectrum, and so he's not overly social, so I don't think he's missing that so much. But my 5-year-old will talk to you. I mean, she came down and was trying to talk to Nina. I wanted to tell her whole life story. So I think she's definitely missing all of these social aspects of school.
Well, I just like, this is one of those times where I'm so glad for my PoshMark community, because I feel like it's really great to have people around you who are doing the same things and working through the same challenges, and they may not be in the same place or have the exact same situation, but it just makes a huge difference. And it's like nice to talk to other people that aren't your housemates.
Yeah, and about things that aren't like, I can talk to my husband, but he doesn't get nearly as excited as you guys do. Talk about this stuff, and that's why I'm gonna try and have one of these every week. And you guys know this, but for everyone who's watching this, it is open to whoever wants to join via on the video. StreamYard only allows so many people, so that's the first 5 people that reach out to me and get the link. But once a week, we are moving, so it's not going to be a consistent day every week until we're in a new place and I can make it consistent. But definitely watch out on my YouTube and on my Instagram to follow those, because I really do like just chatting with resellers. I think there's a time and a place for big YouTubers and big social media influencers. They definitely have lots of information to share, but I also think that there was a lot of information shared here with people who don't have 10,000, they don't have the swipe up, or, 50,000 followers on YouTube. You guys still have helpful information, and also just having that community and chatting with people, because we're stuck with the same people. More now than ever. So I am going to wrap it up and call it a day. I do want you guys to make sure to send me your links that you want in the description. I will put those down below. If you like content like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Give a thumbs up on your way out. If you're watching this in the recording, you can leave comments down below, and I will make sure, if the comments for anyone here, make sure to say their name, and I'll make sure that they will get the information. They're all very social on Instagram. So if you have a question specifically for any one of them, I'm sure they'll get right back to you. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I hope everyone is staying safe and sane in whatever capacity is best for their family. And have a good night.